Hey, what's up guys, I'm Styler and this is my review of the DOOGEE Mix with 6GB RAM and 64GB internal storage. It is powered by the Helio P25 Octa-Core clocked at 2.5 GHz, Android 7.0 and features a nice 5.5-inch Samsung SuperAMOLED display. Bezel-Less phones with an edge-to-edge display and dual cameras are for sure the new trend this year. The idea is kind of old and we have seen it before on the Sharp Aquos Crystal back in 2014, but it didn't really get any attention before Xiaomi, which is one of the biggest smartphone manufacturers in China, released their model called Mix with a 6.4-inch display. The 5.5-inch DOOGEE Mix is undoubtedly inspired by the Xiaomi Mix, so the design may not be original, but I must admit that it is very practical as it has a much smaller footprint than other 5.5-inch phones. DOOGEE are mostly known for small budget-friendly smartphones with average quality and hardware. When the company first unveiled renderings of its bezel-less phone, it looked exactly like the Xiaomi Mi Mix, but how is the final product today in reality? Well, the DOOGEE Mix is slightly less bezel-less than the Xiaomi Mix, but it also features a normal earpiece, which for my taste could be a little bit louder, and proximity sensor in the top of the phone, where it still have a very slim bezel, while the Mi Mix uses vibrations and sonar type technologies, which have not been good enough for all users. The DOOGEE Mix is more comfortable in the hand than the Mi Mix, probably because of the smaller size and round edges, but unfortunately also very heavy because of all the used metal and glass. Another plus on the DOOGEE Mix is that it has its fingerprint reader on the front, while on the Mi Mix this is placed on the back. The back of the device looks just stunning and it's made of real scratch resistant glass and very shiny. It's a real fingerprint magnet. Here we find two cameras which can do all the usual camera tricks, like for example a bokeh effect, which in fact just creates a simple circle with blur around it, rather than real recognition of an object. So in my opinion this dual camera setup is kind of unnecessary because it's not really useful for anything, and the camera quality is just about average because sometimes details and colors can look a little bit washed out. So it's not super great, but the results can be okay. Sometimes it is really a hit or miss if pictures turns out good, especially when you take pictures close up or outside with backlight. So maybe you are wondering what you get together with the phone and if there are any special accessories included. So let's take it from the start and let me do a full unboxing. So what the... It says phone ring, but it is packed and look like something else that most men know. Haha, I'm pretty sure that DOOGEE was aiming for a joke when they did this, because the package actually also says stick in hole, feel the world. But inside we actually find a so-called phone ring that you can attach on the back of the phone for additional grip. Next we have a nice looking black 5V 2A wall charger, a design I haven't seen before. And a standard 1 meter long black micro USB cable, a small pin to open the SIM tray, and in this box we find some more stuff, like an English quick start guide and phone overview, a thin plastic screen protector, and notice that the phone out of the box came with one of these pre-installed. And last but not least, a black hard case that will protect the back, sides, bottom, top and side buttons. It's a little bit flexible and it feels very thin. The back is kind of matte and the surface has this extremely nice soft feel to it that doesn't leave fingerprints. Let me insert the phone and let's see how it fits. Because of the cuts in the corners, it's very easy to attach, and the camera lens is flush with the cover. The side buttons are protected and the ports also have a bit of protection to them, so overall a perfect cover that gives a very good grip and protects the phone against scratches. And what I especially like about it is how thin it looks. It really doesn't add much to the sides, so the phone still look very stylish. So that's it for the unboxing and all the accessories included. So now to the design. The phone has a 5.5-inch Samsung SuperAMOLED panel covered by scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass 5. In the bottom we find a fixed capacitive home button with an integrated 360-degree fingerprint sensor, and beside it a 5-megapixel front-facing camera with aperture f2.0. In the top there is also a small earpiece plus light and proximity sensor. The whole frame is of metal and painted blue, even the antenna lines are also painted. The side buttons are tactile and solid, so there is almost no rattling. While in the top we find the 3.5mm headphone jack. On the back we again find scratch resistant glass, the DOOGEE logo, 2 cameras and a single LED flash. So regarding the LED flash, it's kind of weak, and even as a torch it's not very good. The backside is very reflective and attracts fingerprints, but it looks really beautiful. The dual camera setup consists of one 13-megapixel Samsung ISOCELL main camera that can be interpolated to 16 and one 8-megapixel secondary camera. And as you may notice, the camera lens does stick out a bit. With the glass and blue color, the back looks stunning, and after 1 week of use I still haven't got any scratches. The only thing that annoys me is that it is a real fingerprint magnet. On the left we have the hybrid dual SIM tray that has support for 2 nano SIM cards or 1 nano and 1 micro SD card. In the bottom we find holes for the microphone, micro USB port and built-in bottom speaker, which provides sound quality a little bit above average for a budget China phone. It's not as tinny as some others that I have tried, but it could definitely be louder. With YouTube it's possible to enjoy a music video and get a good experience, but I did sometimes miss a little bit more volume. On the net some end users have also reported a very bad camera on their received DOOGEE Mix. That means much worse than on mine here, probably bad lens or camera module, and that indicates that the quality control is not consistent. And with these smaller Chinese companies we know that it sometimes can be like playing at the lottery. The phone has a built-in 3280 mAh battery that gives close to 5 hours of on-screen time, so around 1 day is possible. But still it managed to have a very slim design of only 7.78mm, while it weighs 192 grams because of the metal frame and glass, so it's kind of heavy in the hand. The launcher features a newsfeed all to the left. I have not found a way to change the content, so I just live with the English stuff, and scrolling in the feed can be a little bit choppy sometimes because of all the pictures that I have to load. If you hold the finger on the fingerprint sensor, it can be used as a home button, while when you press one time it can also act as a back button. Besides that, the launcher also supports various settings, and themes can be downloaded from the internet. The brightness and viewing angles are not the best I have seen, but after some time you will get used to it. But what I do like is the very deep black because of the AMOLED technology. When you surf on the internet with the Chrome browser, it's very fast to load pictures, scrolling is nice and smooth, and zooming into stuff is also very easy to handle. The on-screen buttons can be hidden like this. Unfortunately, it doesn't have real hardware buttons, just the fingerprint sensor that only can be used as a back and home button. And this is what in the settings is called one-handed floating view. The 360-degree fingerprint sensor works good most of the time, even though it could be faster, and it of course supports touch to wake and unlock in one go. Unfortunately, it currently has a bug that disables the sensor completely when the phone goes into deep sleep after some time, and then you first need to press the power button before you can use it again. The built-in speaker is not super and the loudest, but still okay to use when watching YouTube videos. I would say it is a little bit better than on other cheap budget China phones I lately have tried. The phone has support for 10-point multi-touch. In Antutu it gets 62,000 points, not exactly the best score I have seen, but 3D games like Asphalt 8 still runs very fast and smooth, even with high graphics settings, so gamers will in fact not have any problems with the DOOGEE Mix. Here's some info from the factory mode about the built-in camera sensors. Inside the camera we beside photo and video that also supports 4K and electronic image stabilization. Also find face beauty, blur, mono, panorama and pro mode. With the dual camera and the blur mode you can make bokeh-like effects, but it's not the best scene. In fact, it just puts a circle around the focus point and blurs everything else out. So it doesn't really see or recognize the object in front of the camera, so this could also just be made with software. Shooting normal pictures can be a hit or miss. It does sometimes struggle to get the correct focus when you are close, while in landscape mode it is better, but colors and details can sometimes look a little bit washed out. The camera clearly still needs a lot of work from DOOGEE's side, and I know that DOOGEE are currently working on a new OTA update, so hopefully they can still improve it over time. The GPS works pretty good thanks to the built-in compass and gyroscope. It's fast to get a lock and it also has support for cloners. While I tested it, the accuracy was 4 to 3 meters, so it's fine for map navigation and tracking with no real issues. Here you see the quick toggles. Let's go inside the phone settings. And let me scroll all down to About Phone. Here you see that it says Android 7.0. It of course has support for wireless updates OTA, where I'm currently on the latest version. And you see the current build number, baseband and security patch. It also has support for hotnod that lets you transfer files to another hotnod enabled device, similar to transferring files with NFC, where you just place two phones close to each other. And here the display settings where it has mirror vision, and you can customize the navigation on-screen buttons. Here look inside the internal shared storage, which is totally on 64 GB. The 6GB memory, where 1.3 is currently used by the launcher and background apps. And then there are some smart features like floating gestures, one-handed floating view, air gestures where you wave your hand over the proximity sensor and for example slide through pictures in the gallery, gesture motion where you for example can turn the phone to silence it, and system motion where I currently use double tap home to fast lock the device. Then there is gesture unlock where you can enable double tap to wake and draw letters directly on the display to start up apps. One-handed mode that will make the screen size smaller so it can be used with just one hand. And last, the settings for the fingerprint sensor where you can set up features when you long press it or just tap it. Now let's have a look at the band mode inside the engineering mode. And important is that LTE band 20 is supported. Let's also scroll through CPU set. Here different specifications, system, and most important all the built-in sensors, where it is nice to see that it also has gyroscope and e-compass. So that means that Google Cardboard and VR will work perfect without any issues. It has dual band Wi-Fi with 2.4 and 5 GHz. The Wi-Fi reception is good, but I was not able to get over 70 megabits per second, which still should be fine for most users. The stage fright detector didn't find any issues, and the same for my antivirus app when I made a deep scan. The transfer rate of the 6GB RAM and 64GB internal storage is pretty fast, as you can see here. Overall, the DOOGEE Mix is a very stylish, clean and solid phone. It is not what I would call real bezel-less, because it does have a bezel, but it still looks nice and different and like something new that I like. It feels comfortable in the hand and the materials and build quality is really good. On the bad side we have the camera, which still needs some optimization, and the software, which I would just call okay. It is nice with a lot of options and themes, and that it is free of heavy Chinese bloat. There is no real visible lag, but it still does not always feel completely smooth. It's hard to describe, but I know DOOGEE are still working on the software, so maybe it will be better soon. So the final question, should you go for the DOOGEE Mix now? Both yes and no. If you can wait, then it would probably be better to wait until the software and camera have been optimized some more. But if you don't want to wait, then this is currently the only real budget-friendly bezel-less alternative to the Mi Mix. Just keep in mind that we will likely very soon see other Chinese brands come with similar bezel-less Mix look-alike models that will have even better specs than the DOOGEE Mix. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one.